Hi, I'm Jill with the West Regional Branch of the Mobile Public Library, and today I want to recommend the book Iron Dragon's Daughter by Michael Swanwick. This is a book written in the 90s, and it's kind of a fantasy book. I say kind of because it's actually a very strange book altogether. The plot of it is you have Jane, who's like a changeling child, and you know, in your old fairy mythology, the changeling is like where they replace a human child with a fairy. Well, she's the human child that got taken to fairy, and she grows up basically like a slave in this factory, and she eventually escapes, and she's still in fairy, and she goes to high school and she goes to college in this fairy world where everybody is some sort of brownie or you know, whatever, you know, your different kind of Irish type fairies, where some of them are kind of monstrous and some of them are more like humans and some of them are beautiful, and it's all totally normal to her because that's all she's ever known. That's what she's grown up with, is fairies. And when she's going to high school and college, there's a certain griminess to it, like a gritty, real feel to her experiences in school, that even though all of her classmates are somewhat fantastical, she doesn't understand that they're fantastical because they're just what she grew up with. But you get these little bits and pieces to know that they are not like just normal people. But then the actual way she lives with, you know, shoplifting in high school and hooking up with people in college, it's very grounded and down to earth and more like a authentic school growing up experience than a lot of things that are actually set in normal real life. So it's a very interesting book, and the way it's written is very different than pretty much anything else that I can recall reading, because even though it has the fantastical element to it, everything is so grounded that it's not emphasized. And most of the time when you read a fantasy novel, it's all about the spectacle, whereas this one, the spectacle's kind of under the surface. It's kind of hard to describe exactly what the thing is about this particular book, but I know it's I think a New York Times one that you should read or something like that. And I originally read it more than 20 years ago, and I still remember the book, which is a rare book that you can read it that long ago and you still recall what it's like. And I actually reread it fairly recently, and it still holds up as a very interesting read, and I would highly recommend it. And this one is available on Hoopla, so you can check it out digitally if you'd like. All right, now let's see. For a food item, one thing I read recently is a short story, which was honestly not that good, but the thing about it was that it was set in Egypt, and they were drinking hibiscus mint tea, which was not something I'd ever heard of before, but I'm like, you know, that sounds pretty good. So I went online and I went and searched for it, and I couldn't find anywhere, but I did find one place that made a hibiscus watermelon mint. You can't taste the watermelon. It really is just basically hibiscus mint tea, but it's wonderful. I mean, it's just, you know, kind of a little bit of tartness from the hibiscus plus the mint, and then I put a little squeeze of lime juice in it to make it a little more tart, but that kind of citrusy plus mint is wonderful. I mean, if you like a mint lemonade type thing, you might want to Google and see if you can find some hibiscus mint tea, because it's that same kind of flavor, but less tart and acidic, and also less expensive, because even though loose leaf tea is kind of pricey, it's not near as expensive as bags of whole lemons, like lemon mint tea will cost you to make. So I would recommend that if you like that kind of tart plus mint combo. Anyway, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you have been reading and eating or drinking lately. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.